Welcome back to the third and final episode of Men with Advanced Degrees Play Risk of Rain. After killing a coal-powered turtle, comparing their genitals to Pokemon, and as their consciences constantly remind them, belittling anyone who ever shed a single tear over the 2,996 men, women, and children killed on September 11th, 2001, what could there possibly be left for our heroes to do? Talk yet more about Pokemon? Continue to waste everyone's time by criticizing a game none of them have played and which the gaming public has already largely forgotten? There's only one way to find out, and that's by keeping your ears open and your eyes firmly fixed on this pixelated screen for the next 20 to 25 minutes.
Oh, guess what, guys? I have to turn down the visuals on here so that I can maintain a decent frame rate.
Frame rate is crashing! Because your computer's not strong enough to play a game made entirely of pixels.
No, you'd think that. It's like...
Go through Cargo 2.
This game is run shitty on this particular level in every game that I played because it's so large and because so many enemies spawn. But anyway.
Well, that's true, because a lot, it seems to be the case, a lot of times... I feel like when I was a kid, I was always like, oh my god, my computer's just not strong enough. I need to buy even more graphics cards. But, really, mostly it's just because people code their games badly.
Yeah.
Or really inefficiently.
Anyway, as I was saying, games like No Man's Sky, and Spore. Let's throw Spore out there.
That was another one, same thing. Gonna be a huge thing. Everyone talked about it. I think my mom even knew what Spore was.
Wow.
Enormous expectations, and it's like the game Spore. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly serviceable at a game. It's not brilliant by any stretch of the imagination, but its problem was that it was hyped so much that there was no way it could possibly live up to its expectations,
Yeah. What was that? There was the Peter Molyneux game, the Fable game.
Oh, you mean
they had that same problem too?
Every Peter Molyneux game?
I guess true. Every Peter Molyneux game. Yeah, even his new one.
Didn't he do Sims something? Did he start with The Sims?
No, that's the guy who made Spore. That's Will something?
Will Ferrell.
Will
there
Ferrell.
We have it, finally.
Will Ferrell.
Did you know he's actually the same guy as Adam Sandler?
Have you ever
Are we doing this shit again? Are we doing this bit? Is this bit happening?
I just wanted to mention that.
Just a friendly reminder. Okay, so I just want to let you guys know how overpowered I am at this point. So I have an item that does, area of effect damage. I also have an item
blowing stuff up,
where I can freeze enemies in one of every 4 shots, which basically means that nothing can kill me at this point. I think at some point I also pick up an item called a Heaven Cracker or something like that, which makes it so that every 1 out of 4 of my shots travels through all of the enemies. So at this point I'm an unkillable god.
You have too many items. So, one I would like to point out, I've noticed in the corner that you're currently playing this video game on the difficulty ha 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 ha. As officially what the difficulty is called. Now, how does that correspond with the other difficulties on this game?
So, there are actually 3 base difficulties that you can work with in the game. There's, I want to say, Drizzle, Rainstorm, and Monsoons, which correspond to, easy, medium, and hard. And this is where I change my graphics. I knock them down to medium graphics so that my frame rate is fine. Drizzle's
I can't
easy.
see any pixels anymore.
There's too much anti-aliasing in this game.
Anyway, so, Drizzle's easy. Rainstorm is hard, or medium, and Monsoon is hard. As you play the game actually gets harder. So the more time you spend in the game, that meter in the upper right-hand corner goes up. You start out at very easy, it goes to easy, medium, hard, and then there are a couple of other variants that I don't remember. One of them is I'm watching you, it's I'm coming for you, and then the very hardest one is ha 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 ha. So the longer you spend in the game, the more enemies spawn, the tougher the enemies are, which is a good way of setting a good difficulty curve for the game.
Oh, cool.
I like games that scale the difficulty as you play it. They seem to feel where your place is and always challenge you. They adjust themselves to make sure you're always being challenged. I like that in a game.
I feel like I feel like that was overused in Oblivion and Fallout 3, those old games, because you would never get something that actually challenged you. You would get something that was kind of a pain. And I really like that can be bad too. But I mean, this seems to have done it right. Like, I really like New Vegas better, where you would, like, they would send things at you that you could kill, but if you went to certain areas, you would be destroyed. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree with you there, because that was the thing with Oblivion. Right? Like, one of the best things I felt about the Morrowind game, right, was that you would occasionally, like, that's like a really good experience. Like, when you go down the wrong corner, down the wrong alley, and something just wrecks you. And that's really fun, right? It's realizing, like, your limitations and that you're vulnerable, and that's, like, a cool thing that makes you tense and increases the tension of the world. But it does suck when, like, in Oblivion, you never encounter anything that can ever outfight you. Like, even if you go fight the final boss, if you're still on level 1, if you, like, never level up or whatever, like, it's just super easy. And so you're never really challenged. That's one of the things that really ruined that game. Oblivion was, I think, a failure as a video game. Like, it was nice graphics, but, like, most of the mechanics of that game were really disappointing, and it was never nearly as interesting as either its predecessor or successor.
It had those gameplay flaws, and, like, I'm a huge, I'm an asshole who really likes stories in games, and Oblivion's story sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really was not great.
I'll be right back, guys.
Who's playing the video game?
I don't know, maybe a ghost.
Dan's Ghost. Dan's Ghost.
Oh my god,
playing the video game without us.
Is this fucking jellyfish gonna get him? Look at that.
I don't know. Oh, no, it's been lasered. He's been lasered. He's been lasered by a thing with a laser.
I think
Shoot the laser.
He's killing the laser machine.
Let's
make his glasses. He has a few of those. I bet that makes it easier to shoot robots or whatever the hell, you need a fucking lens maker's glasses for.
You know, the thing about this game is because everything is so small, I really don't understand what's happening at any given moment.
Yeah, I feel like you have to be in it. It's kind of like, it's not like Mega Man, where it's so blown up you can see in every screen, like, this is the thing. This is a lot.
You're like a little dot.
That's difficult. That's difficult in games for me. Like, remember back playing some certain versions of Smash Brothers on some levels, it's really hard to find where the heck you are.
Oh, yeah.
You don't know where I am, and I'm like, well, what am I doing? I feel like I would get lost in this game.
Yeah, I think I would concur with that. But I wonder, it's a decision that, like, it's really rare in video games, right, to have this distant a perspective. I can't think of anything off the top of my head where you're this, like, drawn back and, like, your character is this small and insignificant within the landscape.
I mean, I think
that's kind of
I was gonna say, I think that's like a deliberate choice on the part of the designers. Because the entire idea is to make you feel overwhelmed. Like, that's kind of...
Oh, yeah, I mean, I feel overwhelmed. I'm not even playing it, but yeah, I feel that way.
It does do that. Like, it is, yeah. I also feel overwhelmed. There's too many lizard men things.
I would like to note that although I'm not entirely sure what's going on with the lore and, like, whether, Vivek has met Alduin the Dragon God, but looking at this game, it seems that there is a risk of rain. Like, the title's not just a lie. I see bits of rain in the back, and that really makes me feel like this is a good game. Because they didn't just say it was risk of rain because it was a pretty thing and then have no rain, or even the risk of rain in the game. You see those? You see the rain?
Oh, you're right. I presumed that Risk of Rain was spelled R-E-I-G-N because it's a video game, and video games always have stupid names. I feel like Risk of Rain would be the title of, like, a JRPG where you punch dragons.
Hey!
Yeah, it's like, what if they were a risk to your reign, these dragons?
Hey, Brian!
Yeah.
Hey, Paul! I got a question for you. When you go out on a picnic, what's the thing you worry about the most?
A dragon ending my reign as a king.
I mean, you're close, but if you want to give
whether or not I'll have to talk to people.
Yeah, that's actually my big thing, too.
I know, it's like being
if
social makes me so anxious.
If I can get enough bundles of fireworks to amuse my friends.
I was going to say ants, actually.
It was ants. That makes sense.
Anything but rain. Anything but rain.
So it's like you're on a picnic? It's like a roadside picnic, like that thing that became Tarkovsky's Stalker movie?
Well, I mean, what I'm trying to get at is, like, what this game should have been called is Risk of Ants. because I'm way more concerned about ants than rain when I go on picnics.
Is that what happens at the end of this video game? Is we all get to go on a picnic and eat sandwiches and a piece of pie?
Yes.
Yeah, where's the picnic connection?
Exactly.
You got your sky honky. You got your heaven cracker. What does that do?
So the heaven cracker, 25% of my shots go through all enemies in front of me. So
Wow.
basically, with the fire rate that the Huntress has, that's pretty overpowered.
Pretty dang OP.
And you'll notice, actually, despite the fact that I allowed the game to skip frames and I turned the graphics down to medium, I'm still experiencing some serious slowdown right now.
Too many enemies.
So wait. Where's the picnic connect to this? Is it just like a metaphorical picnic?
It's a metaphorical picnic. It's a picnic as in, like they always say, the old adage. My picnic is that I get to get the fuck off of this planet that is full of hostile alien life, where I accidentally wrecked my delivery ship.
And what were you trying to deliver?
While delivering pizzas to a picnic.
Oh, there we go. I get it.
Exactly.
Did you just set off fireworks?
Yeah, so there's an item called fireworks in this game. Wherever you, activate an item, whether it's like a garbage can, or a chest, or anything else, a bunch of rockets go off and fuck up all the guys around. It's pretty great.
Wow. That reminds me of this game called Adam Sandler's Hanukkah song.
Is it called Risk of Ants?
Oh yeah,
Because I really want to play Risk of Ants.
You know what we should do is we should make a video game where it's a procedurally generated picnic, and you have to choose what to eat. But if you eat things, ukulele. Well, I was trying to be a hipster here and be like a weird asshole and talk about shit, but the game just went ugly with a ukulele showing up. Jesus Christ.
The electric ukulele is actually pretty great because it does it causes electric damage to your enemies whenever you shoot them.
I don't see how that's electric. It didn't say that. It said just ukulele.
Yeah, some of the item descriptions in this game are really vague. So, for instance, when you pick up the ukulele, what it says is, "And his music was electric." But what it really means is that a certain percentage of the time, whenever you hit an enemy, or a certain percentage of your shots, deal additional electric damage to your enemies.
Okay, because you're playing a ukulele at the same time.
Because you have a ukulele.
Yeah.
Because ukuleles make your music electric.
I'm not sure these people have ever listened to a ukulele play.
My dad is learning the ukulele, oddly enough. Yeah.
That sounds like something he would do.
I was gonna go. There's a secret right there.
Oh.
That I was gonna show you guys, but then I fucked it up.
You died.
No, the thing is, when you fall off a ledge in this game, it just teleports you back to the starting point of the level, which is really obnoxious. Because now I have to run through the entire level again to get back to where I was.
Well, I can't, this is so procedural, that I can't distinguish any part of the thing from the other thing.
You know what I really hate? Procedures. Procedures are for nerds.
It's true. If this video game were a TV show, it would be a procedural drama. Like Law and Order.
Ah.
Oh, you know who was on Law and Order?
William Shatner?
Well, I mean, you could name literally anyone, and that would probably be the case. I was gonna say Charlie Day and Glenn Howerton. Is it Glenn?
Peter Sellers.
Oh, that's right. They were on that show once. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert was in an episode of Law and Order 2 before he ever was famous for anything.
That looks really cool. I really like that.
That is pretty neat. That was cool.
Oh, so I have an it's a pretty cool item combination. I have an activated item called Captain's Key, which opens all chests on the screen. So and I also have the fireworks item that I described to you earlier. Whenever I open a chest, a bunch of fireworks go everywhere. So because I procced the Captain's Key, I opened all the chests, and all the chests procced fireworks, and all the fireworks went everywhere and fucked everything up.
Oh, those actually do deal damage.
Yes. It's not just
for show. Now, Brian, you live in Indiana. Isn't that the fireworks deal damage?
Yes. Yes, Indiana is the Wild West of fireworks, where they don't really have any sort of fireworks law, and so a lot of drunken, maybe not entirely responsible people from all over the Midwest will come to Indiana, buy lots of fireworks, and then blow themselves up. There are like a couple people end up in the hospital all the time in this town, because people in this town shoot off fireworks all the time. Not a week goes by where someone in my neighborhood isn't blowing up fireworks in their backyard.
Wow, I hope none of them ever get a captain's key, because that'd be really inconvenient for you.
It would be, because then they would open up like my chest of drawers in my bedroom, and my house would explode with fireworks.
And then every chest, the entire neighborhood's all their drawers would be opened.
Guys, I'm about to fight the final boss.
Oh my goodness!
Is this the planet where Anakin Skywalker did something stupid in that movie that was really stupid? It looks very lavish. Oh no, that's an ocean. Is that the final boss, a smiling sun?
Yes, the smiling sun is definitely the final boss, not Providence.
It looks like it.
So that guy's name is Providence. I have no idea who he is or why he exists. I just know that I fuck him up at the end of every one of these games that I play.
No, he's just a guy with a shield?
I'm also super overpowered right now, and I can kind of trick his AI into spawning on the platform above me when he like has this teleport strike, right? So he disappears and he pops up ahead of you. You see that right there? So I have so many items that like give me air mobility that I can just trick his AI into spawning on the platform above me, which I think is something that I do pretty regularly throughout this fight. He's pretty easy to cheese, is what I'm trying to say.
Just like the final boss villain in Shaq Fu, where all you had to do was hit the B button again and again and again and again and again and again and again, and you would win.
Are you talking about the Mummy?
Yes, presumably. I don't really remember what the final boss in Shaq Fu looked like. I just remember hitting the same button again and again and again and again.
Well, let's see if we can jog your memory by reciting the canon of Shaq Fu. Shaq was sent to another world. There was a cat girl called Felicia, because, now this is pretty clever actually. When you name a cat girl Felicia, it almost sounds like feline, which is part of what cats are named. And that's pretty smart. Holy shit! Is this Nidhogg suddenly?
No, these are the Gilded Worms,
awesome.
The Hands of Providence. Didn't you read the goddamn enemy bar, Paul? Like, aren't you paying attention to the video game?
I'm sorry.
The video game is why we're here.
Sorry, I thought it said, these were the D3D deer words.
I apologize for clipping audio there, like, my bad. I got a little bit passionate.
Those are pretty dang cool worms. I like their worm bases.
They look kind of like Chinese New Year dragons. The one...
Yeah, I like that. I like the tusks on the one.
Yeah, maybe someday I can let's play this game and we can actually talk about it. I mean, I think you guys get the concept pretty much at this point.
I feel like, honestly, if we ever do anything else, the next time we do this, we ought to get a game that maybe one of us plays it who isn't familiar with it, and that would be more fun in terms of a learning curve. We're like, we would die a lot. As opposed to here where you just know everything and, like, this game isn't even an object. You just heard it.
I mean, I really want to do Mega Man X at some point, so that's something we should absolutely do, but I still want to do games that I can destroy.
Let's do that, but here, how about either Brian or I plays Mega Man X, and you'll be very frustrated at us for fucking up playing Mega Man X when you could do it so much better. I think that's much more interesting.
Oh my god, I feel like a vein would pop in my head. I think I would die watching one of you guys try to play Mega Man X.
I feel like no one has ever watched me play a video game without a vein popping out of their head, because I'm, like, really terrible at it.
I mean, to be fair, I think the video game being a non-object in this conversation is actually kind of interesting, because it allows us to focus on things that aren't the video game.
Huh. Maybe we should...
And providing great banter and wonderful internet discussion of the human condition.
We never would have been able to talk about No Man's Sky if not for the fact that we had to pay zero attention to the fact that I was just completely demolishing this game.
The game is sort of a prompt, It's a sort of thing to inspire us on to create something of our own.
Let's try both ways, and let's go back and forth. We don't even have to have one we like more. Let's just spice it up.
Okay. I think that's a good idea. I think variety and changing up our formula is a good idea. It will keep us fresh. It will keep our content fresh, like a fresh apple pie, fresh from the oven, from your fresh grandma.
You know, it's like A/B testing. Basically, when we'll see that everyone loves watching me completely fucking annihilate Mega Man X, whereas no one will appreciate me, like, fucking screaming at you guys for being shitty at Mega Man X.
I think that everyone's gonna like us for our off-topic banter. They're gonna be like, oh my goodness, what insightful things they've said about the art of video games, and Stalin, and the questions of morality.
So look,
Alright, guys,
you're clearly on the bridge of the ship. Is Providence a ghost who owns the ship?
I have no fucking idea. I think Providence shows up and sabotages the ship, you wreck the ship. You're like you're basically like, I'm a fucking delivery man who gets stuck on this shitty planet, runs around and fucks shit up. Also, the Steelers are up by like 30, which is awesome.
Go team!
Go team. And so she left, her soul still remaining on the planet.
Or you didn't collect enough items. Your soul's stuck.
The prompt change, that little prompt there changes depending on which character you play as. I also had some footage of myself playing as the sniper, which is actually the worst character in the game. But I also beat the game with him.
You know who I hate? Kids who always want to be the sniper.
The sniper's a really fun class in this game. The sniper in like an FPS, yeah, okay. But like the sniper in this particular game is actually very challenging and a very challenging and very interesting character, and runs on a lot of mechanics that are unique to that class.
Cool. I would like to point out you killed a bighorn bison, a mushroom, mushroom, a Lemurian. Is that the same as like lemur, like Lemuria, that imaginary
like
continent? Yeah, in the middle of the Indian Ocean.
Must
that
be.
Probably never existed and exists entirely as the figment of the syphilitic minds of history conspiracy theorists.
What about the Ancient Wisp and the Imp Overlord?
So we did see the Imp Overlord. We never saw an Ancient Wisp in this game. That last group are all boss characters. We never saw a Toxic Beast either. So, you know, it all kind of depends. It depends on what spawns. It depends on what levels you go to. I think with my setup, I could have gotten the Toxic Beast, but I never did. But I got because I got Cremator instead. Because the Toxic Beast spawns on, I think, the 4th and the 5th levels.
I'm pretty sure it spawns when anyone talks about their penis looking like coughing. The Toxic Beast of Pokemon.
All right, that's where you cut it, Paul. That's the end of the video.
That's the stinger.
There it is. We got it.
All right, sweet.